Week 3 is almost officially in the books. Got a couple more games to get through, but the 49ers found a way to remain right at the top. They're 3-0, and there's only a couple more teams that sit there with them. We're going to talk about that. I got 49ers first takes, Aaron Labaign in the building. It's Monday. Let's have some fun right here on the WayneBreezie Show.
We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. Yeah.
Monday is back. We are in the building. I got my man Aaron in the building. It's Aaron, 49ers First Takes Monday, right here on the WayneBreezie Show. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Aaron, how are you doing on this Victory Monday after a Victory Friday?
Man, I'm doing good. That Thursday game was nice to get it out of the way. Go to 3-0. It was great. Another 30-point game. Not surprised, right? The offense we got. And it was nice to just watch some football on the weekend and not have to get stressed out about it, because that's pretty much all I do. And then, you watch some of the games that kind of have something to do with us, and you realize that, maybe there's a potential we could be, 5-0 in a couple of weeks. So it was a good overall weekend.
I love it. I love it. Skipped a whole week. Went straight from week 3 to week 5. I love it. I love that take. Shout out to all the Breezy Bunch crew members out there. I see my man Raphael 562 is in the building. What's up, Breezy and Aaron and everyone? Peachy, thanks for tuning in. Faithful, make sure to smash that like button right now. Hit the like button on your way in. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you love your experience here, don't forget to join the BBC crew. Troy is in the building. Good morning, Breezy family. Victory Monday, right? Because we had a Victory Friday and a Victory Monday, and then we had a previous Victory Monday. So this is kind of a good victory week. Big Daddy Niners, how about them Cowgirls? I love it. My man Boss, Niners versus Dolphins, Super Bowl. What's cracking, Niner family? You come on back and join the party. Hashtag for my man Colin in the building. Troy has been a member for 10 whole months to the crew. Shout out to my man Troy. Hey, did your Seminoles win this weekend? I was only focused on Michigan. It was Wedding and Michigan at the same time, and after Michigan won, I kind of left college football alone. But thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. We truly appreciate you. Eddie G and the Bulldogs is in the building. What's up, Faithful? Christy Marie with all the beautiful emojis out there. My man Uncle Scott. What's up, Breezy and Aaron with the hashtag BB. And to all the subscribers out there that are tuning to the channel, thank you so much. I do want to start the show off. We got the first foghorn of the day from the beautiful, lovely Miss Debbie Ryan. Morning, Wayne and Aaron. Feels great to be 3 wins in this last week of September. Do you remember the 21st night of September? I do. Blessings to all joining today. Sad I'll miss the live show, but we'll watch the replay. Hit that like button and subscribe, y'all. Miss Debbie, thank you so much for the super chat contribution, and we truly appreciate it. And we hope that you have an amazing day. Shout out to everybody out there. Again, don't forget to check out our sponsors over at residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy. Go to www.residency.com. I'm rocking the black and red hat. I kind of wish they bring back the black and red jerseys. It's only for practice as of right now for the quarterbacks, but I tell you what, I'm going to give me one of them practice jerseys. I'm going to rock it with this FSF hat from Residency. You could use the promo code SFBreezy. Save $5 on your purchase. All right, listen, Aaron, I want to get through these 49ers, like all the news, all the updates, all the injuries, all that stuff, because I want to get your takes so far from this game. So we haven't really talked about the game. I want to get your takes on all 3 levels, the offense, the defense, and special teams. So get ready to have that prepared. All right, so let's get through the news as we speak. All right, so the 49ers got some things going on, and let's talk about the fines from week 2. So there was only one, and Jawan Jennings with that. Remember that illegal? Remember that block? And I was like, man, that wasn't. But you said it was. You were right. The refs were right, and then they fined him $21K. What are your thoughts about that? I mean, about the fine, is it too high, too low? What do you think?
If I was a player on the team that made a lot more money, I would pay his fine for him because he was just doing his job. You know what I mean? Like, come on, this guy barely makes. What is he? A 7th round pick?
Yo, like the money's like, is it even 700,000? It's like
this man's making less than $1 million in
Yeah.
a locker room with guys that are making upwards of like 30 million a year. If I was them, I'd be like, you know what, I got you because you were doing your job. Yeah,
I got
that kind of $21,000.
the fines
are
are
kitchen with that.
the fines are ridiculous, Aaron.
Yeah.
But I got a question for you. I like how you said that. Who was he blocking for on that play? Was it Christian McCaffrey?
I forget. This was on the Monday. This was on the Sunday game, right?
This was on the Sunday game against the Rams. I can't remember who was blocking, but maybe the person that he was blocking for might be like, yo, I got 5 on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, I forget. It's because it was it's been like a week. I forget because I think I mentioned something during the game, like you said, that I think he deserved it, and
that's crazy.
Not like what it used to be.
It's crazy. You know what happened? The Thursday game has inserted, and we're full into the Giants recap mode. So to go back a week before that, which it wasn't that many days before, but to go back to that, like, it's tough. So Jawan Jennings is only making $940,000. Brock Purdy's in the $700,000 range.
Jeez.
So he's still, but you're right, he's still under $1 million. You know what I mean? He's still under $1 million.
Man, if I was making $900,000 a year, I'd be all right.
Right. Oh yeah, we'd be good. But I'm curious to know, like, that would be cool if one of the players. Now the money goes to a charity, designated by the NFL for the fine. So that's where that money goes to.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. It's kind of like you play Monopoly and then you stick all the expense money under the free parking, and then whoever's lands on the free parking
takes all the money.
They gets all that bread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate it, man. I sucked at Monopoly, man. I was always so bad.
No, man, Monopoly is cool, man. You just got to know how to manage the money. Mike and Kim Travel Buds, thanks for being here. Appreciate the hashtag. Mike Ing, is good to have you home. I'm glad you're out of the hospital, bro, and you're getting better. Yes, we got you, brother. Let us know if there's anything you need. We will make sure we are there for you, bro, because we love you. All right, bro? All right, so let's talk about let's see. Dre Greenlaw, he ended up, remember that he had the roughing the passer penalty, but he didn't get fined. So as rough as those penalties come, Greenlaw isn't getting fined the bucks for it. So that's a good thing, right? So maybe the refs might kind of I don't know. What was your thoughts on the roughing the passer penalty in the Giants game? Came late in the fourth quarter, and he kind of rocked his own player in that particular. What were your thoughts on that?
Was that the one that was near the sideline?
Yes, Mooney Ward had the dude wrapped up.
It was 100%. He should not have done. Because my brother was watching with me, and he's like, "Greenlaw, come on now." I thought Greenlaw. I'm a Greenlaw guy, and I like that he plays through the whistle, but that was pretty obvious.
So I was watching. I broke down the defensive film for the Patreon members. Go to patreon.com /WayneBreezie. Right, you can check out the film. So I was watching, and I was saying to myself during the game, I tweeted out live, Greenlaw has to chill the out. Right, he has to chill out. Right, and I meant that because I saw it live exactly what he did. Now, to his defense, because there's a defense. To his defense, what's going on, Dion? He didn't hear the whistle. There was no whistle. So the whistle actually came after he took off from his feet. So to his defense, he was playing through the whistle. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that penalty in I forget which one it was, where someone was hit a little bit. It was a DB that hit it. I can't remember who it was.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember.
And I thought that was a little bit iffy. It might have been Demo that hit the guy. I forget, but it was like he was kind of up in the air, and I thought oh, come on, let him play through that one. But a lot of people were like, "No, Aaron, if you go watch it, he was clearly out of bounds." So to me, it's one of those judgment things. And when you watch games, I'm more of a I like contact kind of guy because I like physical football. You know what I mean? I like people
Yeah.
to impose their will kind of thing. So listen, whether they get fined or not, teams know when they play the Niners, they're going to get smacked. Someone's going
Right.
to hit.
Right.
And that's all really you want to, at least if you can impart that kind of like, we got to play these guys. They're going to hit us. You got to be ready for it. So I'm good. I'm okay with it. Fine or not.
So look, so my man Shades, the guy was already wrapped up. Breezie, Dre's rep precedes him at this point.
It does. Agreed.
And I agree with that.
Like Dennis Rodman from back in the day.
Right. But to his defense, there's still a defense. Y'all don't want to hear the defense. The defense is you play through the fucking whistle. That's what I was taught to play when I was coming up, high school. That's the last football I played was in high school. And you play through the whistle. If you don't hear a whistle call, you do what you do. Now, here to me is where he was wrong. because on that play, like he was pursuing to the offensive player, right? He saw his man. He slowed down, right? And it was like he was about to come to a stop, and then he didn't hear a whistle, so he took right back off. And the only issue that I didn't have an issue with the penalty. I didn't have an issue with what he did. The only issue that I had was that you tackled Mooney Ward. You could have possibly taken him out for the season. So that was my only issue. But I feel like you teach your defense, you play from whistle to whistle. You play through the whistle. If you don't hear a whistle, cool. I think if he would have just initially reacted, fly straight to the ball, he saw his man on the dude. If he would have just went straight to the ball, Aaron, there would have been no questions asked. But because he's hesitated, he slowed down and he picked back up his speed, and boom, he gets the flag. Now, I don't think there's going to be a fine or anything. It was just a penalty. It's just going to be a penalty. So the reason why I brought that up, Aaron, is because it's like Dre Greenlaw is consistently getting one of them roughing the passer penalties every single game. And I don't know, at some point it's going to come back and haunt us, right? Like at some point.
I don't want that in a big game. Say we're playing the Dolphins in the Super Bowl and, we're leading them and they're driving and we're doing really good. And we make an interception, but at the time of the interception, he takes his shoulder or he takes the quarterback and drives him into the ground. Like, yeah, of course I think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always thinking about the most, even though I'm trying to, and I said this on one of my streams last week, even though I'm trying to be a lot more positive this year because the Niners, haven't really given me a reason to be negative, and I'm just trying to look at things optimistically. The part of me that is negative is always what you just said. Like, you watch things that happen during games, things that for the most part are not important because it's in the fourth quarter, the game's pretty much over, but those things can affect you down the road. Like him hitting somebody and driving them to the ground or hitting somebody, on the sideline, that's borderline kind of like late. It doesn't bother us when we're up 28, 20 points, but what if we're in a game where we're playing a team, say like the Dolphins, and they're driving and we get a sack to end the freaking game or we get an interception, but like on the other end of the play, you got him taking the guy to the ground and being a little bit rough with him. So yeah, those things definitely come through my mind.
It's just weird because it's football. So like, what the hell is rough? I guess over excessiveness, hitting somebody late, hitting somebody out of bounds.
If you're a quarterback and somebody takes you out in the legs, like purposefully, yeah, I'm totally okay with that penalty. That's ridiculous. Like you're
right. Because the new rule is you can only hit the quarterback in the torso area. So not head, not legs, like that torso area, depending on how tall
in the chest,
quarterback
like
is.
In the belly button area.
Yeah, but then you can't even land your weight.
No, you got to keep your hands out like this.
So you got to hit him like a flop. You
almost got to have like a belly flop effect when you hit him.
Yes, that's what I thought.
You got to go belly button to belly button with the guy, and then which sounds really weird. And then take your hands off of him.
That's the worst. You know what? Since we're talking about these penalties and these flags and these fines,
I love
my man Shade says, did Trent get fined for the punch? I will say that they're a week behind. So even though the refs, they drew the flag, so they did draw the flags. They both got personal foul calls. I don't know if he'll be fined if they didn't deem it a punch, but They maybe
Kind of
go
a
back.
rabbit punch.
It was a punch, but they'll go back and rewatch it, and they can still find them. But again, they're a week behind on the fine. So we just got the week 2 fines like yesterday. So then hopefully by next week we'll get the week 3 fines. Trent may be in there, and it may be pretty hefty.
Yeah, he straight up punched that dude. But to me, it was kind of a rabbit punch a little bit because it was quick.
Punch is a
Nah,
punch.
that was a real punch. Okay. Yeah. If I played professional sports, I would have. I'd be like Dre Greenlaw and him. I'd be getting fined all the time, sliding into people cleat first and trying to hurt them and stuff, especially if they hurt my players. Yeah, I'm insane. I couldn't play professional sports.
I hear you. Let's talk about some accolades that happened in that game. So you got 2. You got Brock Purdy, who continues to just win. But let's talk about Christian McCaffrey, 5,000 rushing yards, his career rushing yards. He hit the 5K mark. But most impressive was the 12 consecutive games that he scored a touchdown in, which he tied Jerry Rice. So this upcoming week against the Cardinals, this man may beat out Jerry Rice's record. Like, I gotta give him a round of applause on that, bro. Whoa! So, Christian McCaffrey, how are you feeling about Christian McCaffrey thus far, man? If you had to assess him real quickly in a few words and a grade at the end, what do you do? What are you thinking about for Christian McCaffrey?
He's the lifeblood of this offense.
I like that.
Lifeblood. To me,
he's the true blood.
I say this, and you guys know I'm a Brock guy. I love Brock Purdy. Brock had a tough game, and he had to throw a lot of screens. He was getting rushed. He got rushed 85% of the time during that game. The best friend you could ever have is a running back like Christian McCaffrey. You could take the weight off of him, and a lot of people are going to say, well, see, he's just like Jimmy Garoppolo. He has to depend on all the guys around him. Well, in certain games, depending on how someone's playing you, sometimes you do have this depend on certain individuals. As far as a grade, A+, man. He's done everything. He's been consummate professional. The way he practices, like they were talking about him in training camp going all out. And, as us fans with the injuries, we always were like, oh, God, I wish guys would take it easy or something. But that's just the way he goes. And in games, it's the same thing. I feel like he's the type of player that, like, at the end of every game, he's probably looking at the film and saying, like, oh, I could have had this. I could have done this. Like, it's never good enough for him. And that's exactly the kind of player. It's funny that it's Jerry Rice's record that he might break because Jerry was the exact same type of player. Like, if there was something left on the field, Jerry was looking at it and Phil and being like, I'm going to get this next time. So, I love Christian McCaffrey, 100%. I just think that even if they don't win a Super Bowl, it was probably the best midseason trade in the history of the game. Like how much he's changed and affected this offense from when he got here last season. So,
I just feel like when it comes to Christian and the whole offense,
Christian, there's so much.
Yes.
Sorry.
I just feel like when it comes to Christian McCaffrey, he's just the perfect fit. So he's like the Cinderella slipper to Kyle Shanahan's offense. And Kyle loves a special type of running back. And so, like, he's been trying year after year. We went with speed. Speed couldn't stay healthy. We went with a little bit of more durability. Had to use plethora of backs. But now you add the Christian McCaffrey factor where you're going to get speed, durability, strength, explosiveness, vision, and probably most important, pass protection, and probably most importantly, not pass protection, probably most importantly, pass catching, right? Like his ability to be able to line up anywhere you need him to line up. So, like, this offense will continue to flourish as long as Christian McCaffrey finds a way to stay healthy. I think if something was to happen to McCaffrey, the offense will still be fine. It would just look a little bit different. And we've seen different before, right? Because we've seen our other running backs, well, at least Elijah Mitchell, in this particular type of offense. We run different. We run a lot more outside zone. We run a lot, like, it'd be more of that. But the way Christian McCaffrey is, when you insert him into this offense, the way he confuses the defenses is what it's the game of chess, right? Like how are you going to defend them? Are you going to put 8 people in the box, 7 people in the box? Like, how are you going to? You know what? You got 8 in the box. We'll just line them out. Brock, you got to get the ball out your hand quick, Doc. Hot route. Bang, bang, bang. Like, there's so many different things you can do with the addition of Christian McCaffrey. So, like you said, he's the lifeblood. I'll call him the true blood or the godsend, whatever you want to call it. Like, Christian McCaffrey to me is just like that perfect fit. And again, like my analogy, like he's that slipper, that glass slipper that only fits on Cinderella's feet. And it's unfortunate that he had got some wear and tear because he was drafted to the Carolina Panthers. But I'm happy that the Niners said F those picks and traded for a guy like Christian McCaffrey. I promise you, this was a guy that they wanted to draft their first year in 2017, but they just couldn't. They needed a plethora of spots and holes to fill back in 2017. They went with the defensive side. Those picks didn't eventually work out, but we are here now. And since we're here now, let's talk about the multi-year extensions for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. I definitely want to get your thoughts on that.
Man, I don't know if you paid. You watch Twitter, man. You look at Twitter.
Oh yeah,
People
not like I used to.
People are bagging on this, and I don't understand why. I hate to go with the saying, like, or not the saying, with the whole, well, we could always go back to the way things were before they got here, but literally, like, with all like the front office leaks and just the GM and the coach not being on the same page when you had Harbaugh and Belkey, and then you get to a group of guys, 2 guys who have been on the same page, or at least mostly have been on the same page since they got here in 2017. Took a roster that was bereft of talent and has supercharged it with mostly their own guys, mostly their own draft picks. Things don't leak for the most part. Most of the players that are here want to stay here and get contracts. They're not playing here to get money to go somewhere else. Like, they want to stay here. The way that the locker room is, with everybody like having everybody else's back, like, it's just a team that's going to always have a chance because the owner, or whatever you want to call Jed York, he just trusts Kyle and John to build that team, and whatever it takes, he's willing to pay for it. And like, it's just it's a perfect situation. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, we didn't win a Super Bowl yet. Listen, we're in it every single year since they've been here for the most part. All you can do is put yourself in a situation where you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And the more times you put yourself in that situation, the better chance you have of winning one. So this whole thing of like, we got to fire them because they haven't won and we need to replace them. And anytime you ask them, people, who are you going to replace them with? They can't give you anybody. They can't give you anybody because, like, if you're going to make that kind of move, it has to be like not Bill Cowher. It has to be like Bill Parcells type coach. Like, it's got to be that level of coaching hire above Kyle Shanahan. And I'm not saying that they can get away with never winning, but it's just a perfect combination, man. And they deserve all the money that they get. The only problem I have is I wish they would have announced some sort of extension or lateral move with what's his name?
Adam Peters.
Something like that. Because as much as I love John Lynch is more or less like a figurehead, right? He is the corporate guy that stands in front of the microphone and takes the heat. And Kyle works behind the scenes with the players, and like they're the perfect duo. I still think that John, when it comes to player and personnel, I think if I had to depend on anybody, it would be more Adam Peters than him. Everybody has their place. I wouldn't want any of them to go, but yeah, both of them deserve everything they've gotten.
Yeah, I get the pushback from a lot of the fans or whatnot. And I know people want Super Bowls. I mean, I want a Super Bowl. But I think at this point in this age of football, like, finding a good coach is hard to find. Finding a good general manager is hard to find. And once you start, they should know that we've gone through this plenty of times before we landed John and Kyle, right? And I feel like, the last time we were relevant was with Jim Harbaugh, and we didn't win the Super Bowl then either, but everybody still wanted Harbaugh, right? And the issue, I feel like the reason why Harbaugh isn't here is because he wasn't extended. As a matter of fact, Colin Kaepernick was extended before the head coach, and Harbaugh was pissed about that. And that, if I go back and I really go back and document and really show everybody, that's when the offense changed. That's when stuff just started to happen. We know that there was issues with Balky and Shanahan. There was a power struggle, right? I mean, Harbaugh. There was a power struggle there. Look, all I know is I'm glad that they're here, and now there's no excuse to get the damn job done. The team already decided to the general manager excited to extend you. None of that money comes out of the salary cap. That's coming out of the owner's pockets himself. We don't have to worry about anything of that when it comes to getting these players here. And I don't think there's another head coach general manager tandem in the league that has the type of rapport and culture that they've built for this team. Miami may be getting close. They may be getting there. They're still young, but you can see that culture is shifting over there in Miami. But I wonder where those people came from. So I'm saying that to say, like, I get it. We haven't won a Super Bowl yet. And I tell you what, I'll give you more of my take on this topic tonight at 4 p.m. with Mike Andrews on the No Harm, No Foul show. Make sure you tune right back here, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Aaron, I want to get your takes on the offense, the defense, and the special teams from week 3. Like, I want to know what you saw on offense. I want to know what you saw on defense, and I want to know what you saw on special teams. So take us away. Are you muted? I can't unmute you.
Well, your volume was kind of low, so.
It was?
Or at least on my end, it was. Like, I could barely hear you.
Oh, okay. Is my volume low out there, guys? Could be. I don't think so. But all right, let me get your takes on the offense, the defense, and the special teams.
Offense was that was an interesting game. There was a lot of blitzing. They brought a lot of pressure. If you, like I said, if you go onto social media, everyone was falling apart over Brock Purdy's performance. But you go look at the statistics after the fact, and you're looking at a guy that was blitzed 85% of the time. I thought he did what he had to do with the situation the way that it was with the blitzing. This was definitely more of a game where the playmakers around Brock Purdy kind of carried him a little bit, which is fine. I mean, they did it with Jimmy Garoppolo all the time. So, I mean, you can't have every single game, things happen. Can't be, I mean, he is what he is, and he can't be great every single game. Sometimes quarterbacks need to be carried. I thought the offense in general, they got a lot of yards. They possessed the ball a long time. It was a weird game. It was a Thursday night game. To me, it was very much a Thursday night game. It was just like weird, sloppy. I thought Kyle's offensive game plan, to be honest with you, was a little vanilla, more than usual. As far as defense, I thought the defense was. I mean, the Giants don't have a lot of pass catchers that really threaten the field. So, they were moving the ball at first. The Niners were giving up all the underneath stuff like they've been doing, kind of making teams have to work for everything. I thought the defense played well. I thought the pass rush was starting to come alive, and we're starting to see what it can be with this whole 5-man D line that they're running, which is interesting. Which is something to take a look at and pay attention to down the line. The secondary played really well, but again, you have to really look at the Giants. They really don't have a lot of pass catchers that really scare you. As far as special teams, I mean, all of us were worried, or at least maybe I was worried about Jake Moody before the season started, and the man's flawless. And that's really all you can ask for. I was, peeing in my pajamas thinking about not having a good kicker in preseason, and then all of a sudden he comes out and it's like, oh, okay, never mind. We're good. So yeah, I thought everybody played well. It was a Thursday game. It felt there wasn't as much shine on it. It wasn't as, pretty. I felt like it was just a clunky kind of weird game, but the Niners still scored 30 points, gave up only 12. So if that's the worst of it, and this is the worst that Brock's played, I'm going to be okay with it because I know he's the type of guy that's going to put in work to get better. And they had a chance to rest a little bit, and we'll probably get Ayuk back for the Cardinals game, I would think. So the Niners are opening up too against the Cardinals, 14-point favorites, guys. That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a lot. But they're at home, so you expect it. You expect it. A lot of people. I think the Niners have been double-digit favorites for the past couple of weeks, and I don't expect it to change. And this is letting everybody know. This is letting the league know that the Niners are dangerous. They don't care what teams do the week before, but when you play the 49ers, you got to bring your A-plus game. And here's the crazy part about the 49ers. They're not even, in my opinion, Aaron, they're still not playing A-plus football. Too many penalties, too many missed opportunities. And with all that, they have figured out a way to average 30 points this year by scoring 30 points in each of the 3 games. If anybody does a score prediction and they don't, you got to just say that the Niners are going to score minimum 30 points. Anything over that is great. Anything less than that, you might want to question. But I think the Niners have figured it out. And if you look at this last game, I mean, you talked about Brock Purdy. He finished well. So I 25 for 37, 310 yards, 8.4 yards per average, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, was sacked twice, and his quarterback rating was 111.3. So regardless of how he started the game, he figured out how to finish the game. He figured out how to adjust. And these are the things that I feel like we got to give Brock Purdy credit for because he saw a different game plan. He's never, ever in his career saw a team blitz at that high of a rate, 84.6%. I'm rounding it off to 85%. This dude was getting the ball out of his hand, I think, in 2.3, 2.4 seconds. The quickest all season long for any quarterback in the league because of the way that the Giants were blitzing. So, yeah, like his throws were off in the beginning, looked like he was off rhythm, but the Giants were blitzing on the first play of the game. So, like, they were just trying to get in Brock's head. As far as you saying that they didn't have, too many pass catchers and things like that, I agree. Like, they don't have the threats out there, but they do have threats because I know the week prior, they were going deep down the field to some of these threats. One of them was their rookie and Jalen Hyatt, who I don't think saw any targets in this particular game. I can kind of pull it up just to see, but no targets for Hyatt, 0 targets for Hyatt. They were trying to force the ball to Darren Waller. Isaiah Hodgins had 1 target. Paris Campbell went 6 for 6. But everything, like you said, was the new 49ers defense. The new 49ers defense. The new 49ers defense is this. You can catch anything you want underneath. My team is not going to get beat deep. And we're going to make the tackle. And I think, to me, that is Steve Wilks in a nutshell. Will he get more creative? Will he be more aggressive? I think for sure. But as of right now, you said something that I believe Peachy said on the Overreaction show. You said that the 49ers offense looked vanilla. And I would say that I think just the team in general, they're not even in their groove yet. I don't think the defense is in their groove. I don't think the offense is getting into their groove. And special teams, because we're missing certain players. See, I didn't realize that the Samuel Womack III injury would be that detrimental. But every week so far since he hasn't been playing, there's been a dumb-ass penalty from the same special teams member. And so, like, those plays can hurt us. Because if you think about it, Aaron, how did the Giants get in the field position to score? Oh, I remember. There was a special teams penalty first by, Trey Swilling that backed the 49ers up into their end zone, which means they ended up going 3 and out, right? Because different type of game plan, right? The Niners punt the ball. Then on that, there's an interference call, okay, on Shamar John Charles, which gives the Giants had the ball for like the first time on their side of the field, right? They throw 2 plays. One to Darren Waller, which I thought was a BS call, right? That was the first one. And then 1st and 8. Now, I want to talk about this 1st and 8 play because I don't like if I feel like the Niners defense, if they need to work on anything, and I explain this better, I break it down on the Patreon. I promise you guys, you can see this play on the Patreon. I go through it and I'm like, man, Fred, 1st and 8. They set up. The Niners are out there. I would say, and like they had their nickel defense out there, and everybody was playing like it was stacked, kind of like in the box, right? So you had everybody because there's not enough space to play too deep into the end zone. The Niners were playing pass but playing run at the same time, and I think they got fooled. Fred Warner on that particular play, worst play of the whole game for Fred Warner. On that play, he overshoots his gap. When he overshoots his gap, Matt Breida sees that, takes the cut, goes back inside. Fred gets his arms around Breida, but it's just arm. You can't arm tackle a running back. It's not a quarterback. Can't arm, even though who arm tackled even though Isaiah Oliver literally arm tackled Matt Breida, and I'll talk about that play. But on that particular play, that's what happened. And when you saw Breida cut back in, when Tayshaun Gibson came up to fill the space as the safety, the force, the momentum, it just drove them into the end zone. Like he carried 3 defenders into the end zone. So if Fred Warner just doesn't miss that gap assignment in that wide 9 zone, that's not a touchdown. There's a possibility the Giants don't even score a touchdown in the game, because I think the Niners would have kept them out of the end zone. But it was just that one play, got the best of them, bada boom, bada bing. So, I think overall, I love your assessment on the offense. I love your assessment on the defense. And I agree with you. I don't think we've seen the true identity yet. And I think that's by purpose and design. Does that make sense? You're muted again.
Thanks, guys. No, it ended up being my head. I got to get some new headphones. That's why you were coming in low. They just glitch out all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't know. From watching the game, it felt, at least on offense, it just did feel very like Kyle. It felt like Kyle was just trying, like, I'm trying to think, was it it was this game? It just felt like a team just wants to get out of there.
Thursday night. You said it first. Yeah.
That's the vibe I got. They want to get out, make sure everybody's healthy, and go into their little, long weekend. He gave the players off till Monday, which I think is awesome. It was one of those games.
They had to win, though. That was the caveat.
Yeah, we have to win. I hate Thursday. I don't know about you, but I hate Thursday night games.
They're bad. They're bad. They're bad for the players. They're good business-wise for the league.
No, of course. It's all about the money.
Yeah, but they're terribly bad for the players. Terribly bad. So I agree with you 100%. Let me get your offensive and defensive player. You know what? I was going to say of the game. I want to get your offensive defensive player so far after week 3.
Like all together?
Yes. So give me one offensive player, one defensive player.
I mean, we got to go offense. We got to go Christian McCaffrey. I mean, I would have given Ayuk if I would have seen him, play this game and have a good game. But I think Christian McCaffrey has been everything and then some for this offense as far as running the ball. The teams have to respect it. And I think that's what opens up a lot of the other stuff that we do, because they have to respect the run. And then, you get the yak guys open in open space. And we all know what happens when that happens. Defensively, I don't really know if I have one right now. No one's really stood out and been like the guy, I mean, freaking Drake Jackson had 3 sacks week 1. He's had nothing since. Man, defensively, I don't really have a defensive player right now, to be honest.
Come on, man. There's 11 players on defense. Pick one. They're all right. There's no wrong answer. It's just your preference.
I'll go Javon Hargrave.
Okay, Javon Hargrave.
I think Javon. I call him Javon. Javon Hargrave. I feel like his signing was low-key unfair for the league, because if you watch some of the things that he's able to do in a pass rush type setting, it's pretty impressive the way he's able to drive blockers backwards. So to me, it's just a matter of if they could just give a little bit more, everybody, that their pass rush is getting close. Like they're so close. That 5-man line defensive line they were running with was amazing. But they still weren't getting home. So yeah, I'll go Javon Hargrave. I think he's been I think he was a great signing, and so far he's been like the one person in the chat here said, he had some real push. Hocus pocus. He had some real push in the last game. I thought he played really well. So
Yeah,
I'll go
he
for.
had more than real push. I mean, you look at Javon Hargrave. I mean, he's second
He's
in
got
team.
he's got 2 sacks, right?
He's second in. I was going to say he's the second sack leader on the team with 2 sacks. He's the second on the team with 13 total pressures. All right, he has 10 quarterback hurries, 1 quarterback hit, 2 sacks. And here's the crazy part, right? He's doing it all from the interior.
Yeah.
And so you're saying to myself, "Oh snap!" Like, this is from the interior? Yeah. Like we told y'all, this is where the biggest question mark was with the San Francisco 49ers in 2022, creating pressure up front. Why? Because the quickest way to the quarterback is in a straight line, not coming from around the side and edge where you got to use speed, power, finesse, moves. It's literally taking your man in a one-on-one and moving him the F out of the way. Well, in this particular game, I will say in the Giants game, listen, there was one play, bro, where he just literally, it was on the sack. It might not have been on the sack. It might have been after that. But he literally just took his man. They left him in one-on-one. He took his man and just literally moved him out of the way. And just switched him out of the way. So on the next play, they double-teamed him. And I was like, okay. And they got him good. But listen, there's a player that nobody's talking about. And his name is also Javon, pronounced Javon, spelled the same way as Javon, but pronounced differently, Kinlaw, the 3rd leading player in pressures. He has 10 total pressures. People kept saying that he wasn't this, he wasn't going to be. This man is literally getting double teamed. Javon Kinlaw is getting double teamed. It's finally happening. He's getting double teamed. Why? Because he's winning his one-on-ones. Do you understand that this dude was living in the backfield? He was in the quarterback's face. He was chasing down defenders. Oh my gosh. Javon Kinlaw with the rotation. I'm getting happy because I've been rooting for this guy. Because of the rotation, you're starting to see him really flourish, him finding ways to stay healthy, him finding ways to continue to move. I watched him chase down a running back. Like, I'm like, yo, this dude he's a problem. So I like what Kinlaw is doing. I know he's not a starter, right? But as depth, he got 10 pressures, 10 total pressures off the bench. If the Niners continue to stay healthy, keep these guys rotating, this may just be the scariest defense in football because they're generating the pressure from up front. You know Nick Bosa leads the team in pressures, right? This is a guy that didn't go to training camp, that didn't go to preseason, that didn't do that, and still has the most pressures on the team with the double teams. So I'm just saying the defensive line still hasn't found their groove yet.
No.
And when it does, Aaron, whew.
You're right about Kinlaw, and I'm very much on the I don't like Kinlaw train, right? I made my opinion known for a long time.
Sure.
It wasn't there for me. He didn't do it for me. The way he acted and the way he's played so far, but yeah, he's gotten a lot of love. If you look at PFF and some of these like people who do all these game statistic analytics, pass rush grades, defensive grades, all that stuff. He's been doing pretty well for himself. So props to him. It's about time. Maybe he's playing well because he has a contract coming. Hey, whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. I don't care.
No.
If he's going to help and he's going to help this team win a championship by playing really well because he knows he's about to get some scratch next year, then so be it. Sucks that it took him this long. Here's to hoping he plays even better and gets even better. And like you said, this defensive line, what do we got? How many sacks do we got?
Total from the defensive as a team?
Just all together. Because I think what do we have? We have 5 the first game.
Yep. And then we had was it none the second game?
No, we had one in the second game.
All right, so as far as sacks, we have a total of 8 so far. Nick Bosa has 1, Hargrave 2, Drake Jackson 3, Kerry Hyder 1, Fred Warner with the blitz. That was the one we got in the last game, the Fred Warner blitz.
They're, like you said, they're just getting started. I think they're going to get really good this year.
Right, because we don't dial up the blitz that often.
No.
And just imagine. Now I will say that there was some dial up blitzes in this Giants game. I saw the nickel blitz, I saw linebacker blitz, I saw a couple of like fire zones, I saw a whole bunch of. I'm like, oh yeah. Like the pressures were there. It's not just about getting the sacks. Like you really want to generate the pressure and throw the quarterback off their game. So like,
and he wasn't able to run around. He wasn't able to run around. You know,
I felt he had one scramble that whole game, bro. Like
yeah,
one.
like the one that really made me smile was the one where he got pressured and he had to run down the sideline and throw it, and it was like kind of parallel with the sideline, and he missed his guy. And I'm just like, that's what you need to see against these stupid ass mobile quarterbacks, man.
He missed 2 guys, and that's why, you know, I know I'm not to be the person that's going to take any team lightly in the NFL, but listen, Dobbs, good luck playing a defense. I will say that. Like, and so when you're playing a complicated defense that are switching players and rotating players, they had like, they switched George Odom in the game, took out Hufanga, put Hufanga back and took out Gibson. Odom went to this. It's just different. Like, I'm telling you, a lot of teams aren't going to see a lot of these looks that they've ever seen. And I will go out on camera and say this. I was watching an interview, I think it was by Darius Slayton, wide receiver from the New York Giants, and they asked him, they said, hey, you know, which defense is more tough, the Cowboys or the 49ers? Without hesitation, he said the 49ers. He said they just got too many guys on every level. They got too many players on every level. And just let that sink in for those that want to sit there and scrap on the Niners defense. And I'm telling you, like, these points that they've given up came from bonehead mistakes. First week, penalty, they get a touchdown off of it. Second one, penalty, they get a touchdown. You know, they're scoring off of penalties. Remember that Rams drive, penalties.
Yeah.
Week 3, penalty.
That's one thing that they can get better at, and that allows teams that shouldn't be in the game with you to stay in the game.
Yes.
And get momentum. Penalties can cause momentum. I mean, you could be head and shoulders better than the opponent you're playing, but if you commit stupid penalties, then you mix that in with a couple of blown defensive assignments, and all of a sudden a team that really shouldn't be in the game is in the game. So it was a weird kind of a slow domination of the Giants. They were kind of moving the ball a little bit. But you know, I'm of the mindset that the better team eventually will come through.
Oh, I like that mindset.
Yeah, like it's just a matter of time. I will say this about the Cardinals though, because I know we're 14-point favorites. I hate when the Niners are favored by that much. For some reason, when they're expected to kick somebody's teeth in, they don't, or they keep it a lot closer. So I wish that wasn't the case, that we had that much of a bump as far as points, like what they think we're going to beat them by. But one game at a time, man.
One game at a time.
I'll tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys are not what I thought they were.
Yeah, I put that out there. Look, Cowboys.
I thought I've fed into it. I was like, I think they're really good. I still think they have a lot of talent.
The talent is there, but look, it's a lot.
He still got the same quarterback.
It's a lot that has to go into it. And it starts with the coaching, and then the talent, and then the quarterback. Like it's a bunch of stuff, you know. And for our team, for Kyle Shanahan, you know, he's gone through several quarterbacks. None of them, to me, were at that caliber of even what Dak Prescott was. I don't think Jimmy was as good as Dak Prescott. Maybe Brock wasn't coming out of the draft, wasn't as good as Dak Prescott. But when you look at who Brock is paired with, again, it's that Cinderella story, right? Yeah. If you look at who he's paired with, it fits. If the shoe fits, if the shoe fits, you wear it. Speaking of that, the 49ers are 3-0. They're undefeated. I don't know if they're first place in the NFL. I don't know what that ranking looks like. I haven't pulled it up yet. But the Miami Dolphins are 3-0, and you got two other teams that are 2-0 that play tonight. So one of them will be 3-0. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe. And then you got 2 other teams that are playing tonight, right? It's a doubleheader. I want to get your power rankings. I want to get your top 5 teams of the NFL.
I'm going to go Miami Dolphins 1.
Okay.
Just because they put a 70 burger up.
But it was against the Broncos, though.
Still, 70 points is a lot. They're fast.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want to put that caveat that they played the Broncos, who I don't know who the hell the Broncos are. But go ahead, keep going. Dolphins 1.
49ers 2.
49ers 2.
Only reason is I was very impressed by the Dolphins offense yesterday.
Respect.
I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I was watching that game and I was just like, damn, that's tough to stop. So number 3, say the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Even though they played tonight.
That's fair. Undefeated still.
I forgot. I had my list and I didn't bring it with me. Number 4. I'm trying to think. Because I know who I have at number 5.
Who's at number 5?
Buffalo Bills.
Almost forgot about them, but okay.
Okay. Trying to think who my number 4 was. Oh God, I wish I had the.
Is it the other AFC 2-1 team?
Who is the other AFC 2-1 team?
There's a couple of them. You got the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Totally forgot the Chiefs. Yeah, so it would be Kansas City 4, Buffalo 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about it's the Chiefs. How do you forget about the Chiefs?
Well, yeah, because they just haven't looked like the Chiefs weeks 1 and 2, and then they play yesterday and they look.
I knew they were going to smoke the freaking Bears. The Bears are a really bad team.
The Bears might be the worst team in the NFL, bro. Yeah. They just may be literally overall like the worst team in the NFL. If I want my top 5, I put Niners 1 because they're more balanced to me than the Miami Dolphins. I think though the Miami I know Dolphin fans gonna watch this. I know y'all put up 70 points, but you did it against the Broncos. And the second thing is, I know y'all got a defense, but I don't know if y'all have a defense. And for me, I got to give the edge to the Niners. I know this is a different year, but the last time Miami led the NFL in offense, total scoring, all that type of stuff, they had to come to Levi Stadium, and they got punched in the mouth. And guess who won that game?
When the Dolphins came to our stadium?
Yeah, who was the quarterback that won that game?
Brock Purdy.
I'm just saying. So like offensively, we were able to score in their defense. They pretty much have the same defense. Offensively, they drafted another fast weapon, right? But we were able to tame Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, and some of those other high-power athletes that they have. I just feel like, to me, that's why I edge the Niners. Plus, the Niners played the Rams, who I feel like are just better than the Broncos. The Steelers, I feel like, are better than the Broncos, even though the Steelers aren't that great. So the Niners, to me, just play some tougher defenses, but still put up 30 points. It's funny, though, because if we play the Broncos, there's no way. Our offense, I'm not saying isn't built to score 70, but that ain't the style of, that is not how we play. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like
they're a track team. They're a straight up track team.
Straight up.
And I think one of the things you have to take into account was that heat yesterday. A lot of people, I mean, there was 20-degree difference of them, one team sitting in the shade and one team sitting in the sun.
Facts.
I think that definitely affected some things. I think they just wanted to get the hell out of there. But yeah, I just think there's no team in the NFL that has speed like the Dolphins.
I agree with that. I'm not discrediting
the Broncos.
You.
I think the Broncos are a worse team than people realize. I think that the quarterback coach combination is a bad combination. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Russell Wilson is a what do you call coach? Oh my God, you know what I'm talking about.
Russell Wilson belongs. I
don't think he's a good mix. I don't think he's a good mix with his head coach. He just
belongs with Pete Carroll. That's it. That's. Remember we talked about Brock Purdy, and I'm gonna turn this into a show called The Perfect Fit. Remember Brock Purdy? I said Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan is the perfect fit, right?
Yes.
Well, that was Pete Carroll and that was Russell Wilson, and then they had their little. That was Bill Belichick. That was Tom Brady. Like sometimes you just get that perfect fit and you rock it until you can't wear it anymore.
And
Like,
then when that guy goes, neither guy, except for Brady, but like he's never been the same since he left.
Russell
left
has
Seattle.
absolutely.
No.
He
Everybody's
belongs,
saying he's washed. He still puts up a lot of. He reminds me. He puts up a lot of statistics. He reminds me of like Kirk Cousins. Like all these empty statistics that they put up, but they don't ever really win. They're just like, if you got him in fantasy, you're going to do absolutely great.
Jesus.
But other than that, it doesn't really matter. So that's another team that's really bad this year. Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Wow.
Are they? Well,
Minnesota.
I don't know if they're bad. No, they're 0-3. I wouldn't say that they're bad. They just have the worst luck. Like they have been.
I mean,
in
they have
every
talent.
single. They have been in
Right.
every single game, Aaron. They haven't gotten blown out. They've had the lead. Their defense is atrocious, but that's crazy. Like that you say that. I want to know from you. And if you guys are watching the show and you guys are participating in the poll question, please do so. We'll read those results. Which team is the most scary in the NFL? To you.
I have to go with Miami.
So you guys are really scared about the 70 points, huh?
No, not the 70 points, just the speed.
Okay.
That speed, if you don't play sound defense, that speed will destroy you. Like everybody's fast. Their running backs are fast. Their wide receivers are fast. I mean, their quarterback's on a different level right now. You talk about fits. You say that Brock Purdy's a perfect fit with Kyle Shanahan. I feel like Tua Tagovailoa is a perfect fit for Mike McDaniels. I think they're a match made in heaven. He's developed an offense around his skill. I think he's playing at a high level because he's so well. One thing, he's stayed healthy because that was kind of his biggest thing. He's a little fragile. But that's me. I see Diamond Dog Sports say Kansas City. They're right behind Miami. I think if there's one team in the NFL that if you watched a game that could go point for point with Kansas City or Miami is Kansas City and vice versa. I mean, they're just able to put up that many points. The Niners play a different style of offense, like you said. The Niners like to possess the ball, eat clock, and also score plays.
So that's
Some
not
of these
scary.
Other teams, it's scary as you get closer to the playoffs. The Niners are a playoff built team, so once you get into the playoffs, they have all the requisite stuff that you want to be able to do. You play great defense, and you're able to run the ball and possess time. That's what you want to do in the playoffs, essentially. So the Niners, to me, they play playoff football during the regular season. It never changes. It's always the same type of like possessing the ball is huge for the 49ers offense. It helps their defense because then their defense comes out and it's like a free for all. It's like a fast break, The Niners, to me, and this is coming from a Niners fan, the Niners are a great front running team.
Mm-hmm.
They're good when they can get the lead and then stand on your neck, choke you out, and then have that defense be able to come after you. I don't know what the Niners are if they have to come from behind by at least 2 scores. I'm just being honest. Like
no. I know
the negativity in me.
No. You're being really honest, and we want that, right?
The Niners just have a different style of offense. They don't have that speed.
But why so you're scared of speed, but you're not scared of efficiency and durability and all those types of things.
I was just answering based on anybody but the Niners.
I mean, no, you could pick. Like, listen, look. If you're going to be the homer and pick the Niners, just explain why. I think that the whole purpose is you give your explanation. Like you gave the explanation of why you feel the Dolphins are scary. And I'm not going to front, your team putting up 70 points 1 week, then they put up 40 week 1, and like they're a scoring team. They're built from the mind of Mike McDaniels, which is going to do the same thing Kyle Shanahan is going to do. I think he has a different set of weapons. They're built like the Niners. I just think, like you said, they're built off speed. The Niners tried it, and for the Niners, It didn't last because those speed players couldn't stay durable. Now, they've never seen that type of speed at the wide receiver position because our speed guy is on the IR right now. And I don't think he might even fit this type of offense. But when you look, and I'm not comparing him to Tyreek Hill by whatsoever. Like, to me, Tyreek Hill, even though he's that thorough of a wide receiver, he's still probably one of the most dangerous weapons in football because he can catch the screen, he can catch whatever, he can run out of the backfield. Like, he's just a dangerous weapon. He kind of reminds me of Debo, but with more speed opposed to physicality. So I get where you're coming from.
If you want to go physicality as a team, the Niners have that in spades. If
Right,
you play
but
the
so you don't think
49ers, you gotta be ready to get hit.
So you don't think that the physicality of the Niners won't negate that speed? It did before.
I'm not saying that we couldn't beat the Miami Dolphins if we played them right now.
Right.
It would definitely have to be all hands on deck, and people would have to really you can't make mistakes against guys that run that fast. Like, you have to be solid in your coverage. It might match better with our defense because our defense is built to stop the deep stuff and give up all the underneath stuff.
Interesting.
And we all know that the Dolphins like to go over the top quite a bit. So maybe Kansas City. Yeah, I have the Chiefs on the brain because I fear them. I feel like the Dolphins, maybe that they play into the Niners in that respect, but it's hard to say, man. I really don't know. I'm not saying that the Niners could. I don't think their defense could stop the Niners on offense. I don't think the Dolphins. If talk about the Dolphins being able to score
because
a lot of
you'll spread them out. You'll get them going from sideline to sideline, and that's with Christian McCaffrey or with Elijah Mitchell.
To me, they're not a physical team on defense. The Dolphins.
I know they don't have the same physicality. They do have some pressure. I like Jalen Phillips. I like Bradley Chubb. They do have pressure. That's who took out Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if you remember. They took him out. But
freaking knee to the ankle.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? I just feel like the Niners match up well against the Dolphins. I feel like that is one of those matches where it's the coach versus it's the coach versus the Padawan, right? Like, it's the Jedi Master versus the young guy. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Anakin. Like, that's what it is. Like, and that's how I see it. And it's hard to beat the master.
It's that Michael Jordan commercial where you got like Jordan from the Bulls versus Jordan when he first came
in the league. Yes.
You reach, I teach.
Yeah, teach. And so like that, but that's that. The scariest team for me, and you can laugh at me, is always going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. As long as Pat Mahomes is the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Why? Because even on bad days, he plays good enough to get his team to win.
And there was a throw he made yesterday, bro.
Oh, my God. Yo, the dude on a busted ankle still threw a touchdown to Travis Kelce in the end zone. So, like, the shovel pass is there. Like, and it's because of that and his brain that still haunts me. Plus, I just feel like they own the Niners. As a Niners fan,
we get beat down every time they play us.
Yeah. Well, no. We play well.
They just play better.
And then Patrick Mahomes flips the notch switch or something. He turns on the NOS, and then it's a wrap.
He starts doing all this silly business, throwing off angle. It's like he knows all the angles of your defense and your weak spots, and it's just insane.
I will say this, though. The 49ers' speed on defense this year is way different than the speed he's seen last year, because last year we had guys injured and in the Super Bowl year. So, bro, I didn't realize that our defense was as fast as it is. I'm talking about the defensive linemen. I'm talking about the linebackers. I'm talking about the safeties. And even though the cornerbacks might get beat in straight speed, oh my gosh, they can recover. So like, and still play physical. I think that's the most important part. They don't lose their physicality, that identity of being a physical football team, but the speed from sideline to sideline. Dre Greenlaw got to be the fastest linebacker in the game. Find me a faster linebacker than Dre Greenlaw, and that's what makes him the most scariest player.
He's got speed and physicality.
That's scary.
To me, bro, it's all about staying healthy with this team. I think their biggest opponent is themselves. Penalties, they got to clean up the penalties. 49ers. They are just some undisciplined mofos. I love them to death, but they got to cut it down. You can't have 6 to 10 penalties every single game. It's just not going to work against really good teams. You're going to beat yourself. Like every time the Niners do something positive on offense, I'm always like, okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there it is, yellow. Like it's annoying. So yeah, Travis Kelce. Oh God, always drip, man. You funny, man.
That's funny. All right, so
Don't put that.
the poll
Go
went
ahead.
with 69% 49ers. You could tell this is a 49ers show. I don't think they be paying attention to. I know we're 3-0, but I'm telling you, the Chiefs still look. They still look scary out there. But I know that it was against the Bears. I get it.
I knew they were gonna. I knew they were gonna smoke the Bears. Freaking, you know what's yesterday? Oh
yeah. So I see a bunch of questions out there, and I'll go ahead and answer that. I see people asking me about that Niner flag, and that's a nitty-gritty Niners flag right here. So I get those specially ordered. So if you want to message me, I can tell you the price, and I can have the person ship it right out to you. I don't have any more on stock. So if you want the nitty-gritty Niner flag, send me a direct message, and we can get one shipped out to you. But Aaron, before we jump off here, let's go ahead and talk about this Cardinals 49ers game. You already talked about it being a plus 12, plus 14, excuse me. Let me go ahead and put that in there. We have plus 4. That's crazy. Are you serious? That's a lot of points.
it said 14.
It does say
That
14.
That was the opening poll.
You think that's going to change to like 10, 10 and a half?
I think it'll get closer to 10 points just based on yesterday's performance.
They did beat a tough team, dude. So and the Cardinals may move up the power rankings a little bit for being
Yeah, they beat
team.
beat a team that everyone was saying was probably the best team in the NFC.
That they said that in the NFL.
And even I was drinking that Cowboys Kool-Aid. I was like, man, they are pretty talented. And then you watch a game like that, and freaking they just ran right at Micah Parsons. And I just don't think Dallas is a physical team on defense. They got a lot of speed. They can rush the passer really well.
They have
but
speed. They definitely have speed.
You could punch them in the mouth and like on both sides of the ball, and it's like they don't know how to react.
Hence the physical team. The 49ers are bullies.
Oh, I think the Niners on an even field, or especially in San Francisco, in a playoff game, I'm going to pick them over Dallas every single time because I think Dak Prescott remembers who he is. He always remembers who he is. It's like, oh yeah, here's one for you. Boop. Like that throw to that linebacker yesterday. I mean, man, that was a bad throw, bro. He was standing right in front of you. What are you doing? Like
that was a Jimmy Garoppolo throw.
Like you see it coming as a fan, and you're like, don't throw it. Don't throw it.
Did you not say that? I know I said that. I was like, yo, don't throw that ball. Don't throw that ball. You threw the ball. Like, come on. Let's talk about this Cardinals 49ers matchup real quick. Cardinals are coming into town. They're coming off with a win. They're no longer undefeated, right? They're coming off with a win. And everybody thought the Cardinals were tanking, including myself, which they still can be. But I feel like when they get a chance to punch a team in the mouth, they want to show that, listen, when we're serious, we could do this thing. 49ers, definitely, in my opinion, and I'll do this on Wednesday when I do my keys to victory, but they got to eliminate James Conner. And to me, that's the bright spot. Like, I watched Dallas not be able to do that. James Conner ran all over them, and then boom, it was lighting up the field. Josh Dobbs was able to light up the field. So what are your thoughts on this matchup, man? Anything we need to look forward to from your takes?
More or less what you just said, that the run game has to be number one priority for the defense. And then I think the rest will take care of itself because I don't really look at the Cardinals as a team that really has any guys that really scare me, other than maybe say like Hollywood Brown. He's a little
that
fast.
Speed, dog.
Yeah.
You and Speed, I love it.
Speed scares me. Yeah. But I think the Niners are just an overall better team in every sense of the word. Coaching, players. This is one of those trap games where maybe the Niners are looking ahead to Dallas.
Okay.
And they go into this game and are a little bit distracted. Penalties, early turnovers. This has to be a game where the Niners need to end this thing fast. Like this needs to be over in like the mid to late third quarter where you can start resting folks because on paper you're just head and shoulders better than these guys. There's nothing about the Cardinals that scares me. James Conner has had good games against us in the past, if I recall. So, I mean, the Niners have been really good against the run this year, so they need to keep on that. Just gap integrity, play your keys, do all that stuff, and you'll be fine. I don't see anybody in their receiving core that really scares me. And Dobbs, he is a little bit mobile, which is interesting.
Very.
And that's something that the Niners have problems with. So those are like two things that if the Niners are to allow this thing to be a close game, is the running game will be effective against them, and then they're going to let the quarterback run around, screw around, and elongate plays to receivers really that shouldn't be doing much against us. But the longer a play goes, even if you have bad receivers, guys get open. So my keys to the game are just, I don't know, just play the run really well, and I think the rest takes care of itself. And then defensive or offensive wise, just keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah. Force Dobbs to throw the ball. Force him to be accurate. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's going to be their game plan. They're not going to get beat deep, and they're going to give up the underneath, and they're going to make the quarterback. They're going to apply pressure, and they're going to make the quarterback be accurate with his throws. And if he could be accurate with his throws, and they get little cuts and bruises, you know what I'm saying? Like the Niners will take that opposed to getting, the laceration and getting beat deep and giving up the touchdowns. But I think you're spot on. Diamond Dog Sports, what's going on, fam? He says the Cardinals defense is kind of gritty this year. They are. But listen, there's no Buda Baker. This is a George Kittle game. Ain't nobody on that defense covering George Kittle. George Kittle had, in my opinion, you had the prequel of what we were going to see this week. Against the Cardinals when it comes to George Kittle. You had, what did he have, 7 catches for 90 yards last week? I think you're going to get, they're going to look to exploit the safety matchup. There should be some over-the-middle throws. I would see some tight end screens. Look for George Kittle to be the person that they get involved. I do expect the 49ers to have Brandon Ayuk back. We'll update you guys that once he starts practicing. But Week 18, 2022, Brock Purdy and the 49ers did their thing. They defeated this team 38-13. Brock didn't have to do much, 15 for 20, 178 yards, but 3 tutties, right? 3 touchdowns. Elijah Mitchell had 2 touchdowns in this game as well and led the team in rushing, 5 carries, 55 yards. He was averaging 11 yards per carry against the Cardinals. You saw us insert Elijah Mitchell last week. We may get a little bit of more Elijah Mitchell this week. I like what the Niners are doing. Brandon Ayuk did lead the team in yards with 59 yards. Christian McCaffrey had all 3 touchdowns in this game, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. And George Kittle had 2. So my apologies. George Kittle had 2. So those were Brock Purdy's 3 touchdowns. And that's why I said, man, look for Kittle. Kittle was in the end zone a lot. And then if there's one thing that I want the 49ers to improve on offensively, it's got to be red zone offense, right? Like, you got to put up 7. I love Jake Moody, but I want 7 points. I want Moody on the extra and the touchdown, bro.
Yep. Got to get in the end zone, man. They got the players, too. I think they really missed Brandon Ayuk.
Yes. Oh, for
we
sure.
You realize now that all this talk about, we got to move on from this guy because we can't afford this guy. And, maybe Ayuk is expendable. I don't know if Ayuk's expendable now, man. He's kind of proven himself to be kind of a super unlock cheat key. Because, they had a hard time completing passes last week. And Debo, I love him to death, but Debo's just not. He's not the route runner that Ayuk is.
Really?
Debo's the type of guy where you get him in space and you allow the physicality and speed to take over. But if you're going purely based on lining up a wide receiver and catching slants and all that other stuff, I just think Debo, his size and his lack of catching radius affects them. And I think you put Ayuk in similar circumstances, and I think he plays completely different. But that's just me.
Hey, listen, great take. I'm a little different on the take, not because my affinity for Debo Samuel, but I feel like
I love Debo too, but
Ayuk
has really grown on me.
I think Ayuk is still the better receiver overall, but I wouldn't say that Debo can't run routes. I wouldn't say that he's not even great at running routes. Matter of fact, that touchdown, that was a route. That was a stop and go. This is ha, bam, touchdown. Throw me the ball
Yeah.
right here, back shoulder fade, boom, I'm gonna catch it. I wouldn't say that Debo can't do that, but I don't think Brandon Ayuk would have had a good game. They played predominantly zone defense and they blitz 84.5% of the time. Like Brock literally would have had to get that. Like Brandon Ayuk may have got decapitated going across the middle of the field. So I don't think he would have had time to develop the routes against that Giants. Now, my only concern is will the Cardinals, it's a copycat league,
Yep.
try
you're
to
gonna-
adapt defensively and say, hey, they pressure Brock 85% of the time. Let's pressure Brock 90% of the time. So
Good question.
I'm hoping Kyle Shanahan has a counter to that, and getting Brandon Ayuk back, like you said, should help counter that.
Yeah, I think running the ball will be really, really important too. That's the best way to counter a pass rush.
Just run right up the mother,
Right in their ass,
right,
and then
right down it. Yeah, like
then they have to, because if you're coming after the quarterback and they're running the ball constantly, then it's gonna alter your defensive plans, and that's when the Niners can attack. So the run being working and being effective can stymie a pass rush from just going balls out and just being like, we're gonna just come after this guy all game. Because now, it all works. Football is a beautiful sport, man. Because like one thing affects the other, and one thing, it's a chess game. You run the ball really well, then the pass rush needs to be stymied. They stymie, and then all of a sudden you're able to throw on them, and then the run game becomes more effective, and yada yada yada. It all works in unison. So, yeah.
1000%. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning into the WayneBreezie Show with my man, Aaron Labaign, 49ers First Takes. Make sure you guys are following and subscribe to his channel, and make sure you follow him on all his social media platforms. All right, we're going to jump off here, and we will be back again, no harm, no foul tonight, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then Nitty Gritty Niners Talk, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of all three phases of the San Francisco 49ers. So make sure you guys tune right back in. Aaron, I want you to close us out. Take us home, baby.
The Cowboys ain't the best team in the NFC. It's the 49ers. And we proved it, and we're going to continue to prove it. And when we play them in 2 weeks, we're going to bust their ass up. We'll be 5-0 after the game. Just enjoy the ride, people. Cardinals, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I don't see them beating the 49ers. I think the Niners, within 2 weeks, will be 5-0, and we'll be on our way to a great season. So I'm not worried one bit the next 2 weeks.
Now, before we jump off here, Sean, my brother Sean, sent us 2 contributions, so I definitely want to show him some love. So, he says, Javon does well, plus we're going to lose him. Why does he look like GE has stank Doritos breath? What? Now, does everyone see what a smart, competent quarterback should look like? Glad Garkakolo is gone. Where is Jair Brown? So Jair Brown isn't getting many snaps on the defense. He is getting some special teams reps. But again, like, you have to understand that the Niners have something that works, and if it ain't fucking broke, you don't fix it. So the three safety rotation is your starters, and then you're rotating in George Odom. I feel like Jair Brown will be replacing George Odom. If something was to happen to George Odom, that will be that filler. And then if something was to happen, let's say to Sean Gibson or Hufunga, George Odom becomes the starter, and that moves Jair Brown up on the depth chart. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's levels to this junk. They're not overloading him. He's not going to get in the game unless there's something specific that they're trying to get him to do. So that's where Jair Brown is, mainly special teams guy. We're all glad Jimmy is gone, I think, at this point. Brock Purdy being the competent quarterback, you have to agree with that, right?
100%.
100%.
100%. Even when he plays poorly, he still keeps them in the game. Say what you want about
100%.
the almost picks, but Jimmy, ooh.
Listen, I forgot about him. And I'm glad he did what he
threw an
did.
interception yesterday that I remember with the Niners, where there was literally nobody open. He just forced it.
It's like he kept patting his feet. I'm going to throw it to you. I'm going to throw it to you. And the defense said, please throw it to us. Please throw it to us. And he did it. Just throw it away. Throw it out of bounds. That's my point.
I don't think he has the arm to throw it out of bounds.
Listen, anyway, 3 interceptions,
quarterbacks with weak
4
arms.
TDs yesterday for Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm glad he was he was here to help make the 49ers relevant. And now that the 49ers are relevant, they're trying to win it all. Brock Purdy, in my opinion, is the competent quarterback that can run the system.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean says to follow up, seriously, Purdy runs Shanny's passing game like a vet, like he draws it up. Fun watching Wilson be trash. Haha, sorry, not sorry. Dallas is garbage. Dakota's smoking. Does Miami have a weakness? Absolutely. You just punch them in the mouth. Like you step on their toes. I think you step on their toes. They're fast people. Listen, Raheem Mostert doesn't want to get hit by this defense. We're able to apply pressure from the front to the sides. That, to me, Tua, good luck. Enjoy your AFC East reign in the AFC East, but come Super Bowl time, because we won't see him this year if he's still around and standing, because he's still got to get past Patrick Mahomes, bro. If they're still around standing, they're going to know what it's like to get hit against the defense. And I tell you what, they already know. I'll leave it at that. Sean, thank you so much for being here on Mondays, man. I truly appreciate you, bro. You're amazing, straight up. And Aaron, you are dope as well. We're going to go ahead and end this show. Aaron, one more time, just tell the faithful where they can find you, and we'll go home.
49ers First Takes podcast, YouTube channel. I have a TikTok as well and an Instagram.
Your TikTok growing too. I love it.
TikTok is almost at 3,000 followers. I'm like under 200 away. I have my channel, which has got at least 3 to 4 weekly shows. So we got Mondays, Niners Coast to Coast. It will not be on my channel this week, but you can join me, Ty Elston, David McNiner, and Brian Culp. Wednesdays now we'll have 2 shows. We'll have me and First and Ted Hazelrig, Ted Talks Ball, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, it'll be me and Raj from RSF 49ers talking Niners as well. And then it's kind of open at the end of the week. I'm looking to, me and Breezie, when we can do it, we try to do Saturdays when Breezie doesn't have a busy schedule. So a lot of times I'll have people that I don't usually stream with come on like Fridays or Saturdays. So yeah, my shows will be later tonight and then Wednesday, and then I'm pretty much free for the rest of the week.
There you have it, baby. 49ers First Take schedule. Your boy WayneBreezie schedule for Monday. We love y'all. Stay up, stay faithful, always keep it nitty gritty. Thanks for watching.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping nonstop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 4-9 preacher.